Draw simple, easy.
Well, hello there guys and girls, I hope you're all doing very well. Today we're going to be drawing a quick, simple, easy picture of Mikeymegamega, arguably the most handsome man on YouTube. Yeah! In this episode, the reason why we're doing me is simply because A, thank you so much for 100,000 subscribers to the channel. That is mental. I'm only touching on that very briefly. We're going to cover that a little bit more as this week goes on. And no, my head isn't so far up my own arse. I personally genuinely think you need to learn how to draw me. It's just that a gender-bent version is probably going to be happening at the end of the week based on your requests. So I thought I'd start off standard traditional, and we can learn to draw the man, the myth, the legend, the artist himself. Oh, I am up my own arsehole after all. So start by drawing a nice, great big circle right in the middle of your page. Why not? This is going to be really quick and really simple, so this isn't going to take too long at all. There's not much to worry about really. So we just get this big circle going on, and I'm going to make this nice and dark in terms of the construction line so that you lovely people at home who've been clicking that subscribe button, oh thank you so much, can see what's going on. Is that in focus? Yes, it is in focus. Quick center line right down the middle, except this one is going to follow the curve of the circle slightly off to the left. We'll have a cheeky little 3/4 situation going on, and another center line just right along here is going to help map out what's going on with the hat and all the other bits. So if we go this halfway point, right where we've got the cross out zone here, and we're going to go halfway down again, and we're going to have a slightly chibi-ish, not too chibi version of Mikey. So we've got our halfway zone down here and then halfway again down here, and we're going to fit our eyes into this particular area around about here. So what are we going to go for? Maybe some kind of like eyes up, yeah I'm feeling all cocky situation. So in this situation I'm going to map a big curve right in the middle around about here. It's going to be eye number 1, and then right in this particular zone over here, a slightly more compacted and squashed in version is going to be eye number 2. And then what I'm going to do is just create a lid or a fold that flattens slightly and aims up towards the middle on this side. Same on this side, flattens and aims up. And then the bottom part as well, around about here, is going to be fairly flat like so, and fairly flat out like so. And then I'm just going to use that to join back in, just to kind of create an eye shape that's kind of like that. The eyebrows, however, are going to go right up here, so maybe if I imagine another halfway line is up here on the circle, this is going to go halfway. I'm totally making this up as I go along, by the way. Normally I draw an actual character on a Monday which has a particular design. We're just winging it. And I'm going to get a nice thick Mikey eyebrow, one up there like so. Lovely. And then further to the left, let's have another one just coming off down this side as well. So as for the shape of the face, things tend to curve in a bit on the outside eye, so I'm actually going to bring this circle round to this eye level, just as it is here, and I'm going to let it just bump out of the cheek around about here. So we're creating a second kind of circle zone, and that's just going to be fairly consistent all the way around, probably a chin as it meets the point around about here, and it's going to curve all the way back round and up towards the side like this. Okay, we've got some very loose guidelines going on. Now, I often wear a big black beanie, so where we've got this line up here now, that's going to mark start of the beanie fringe line. I'm just going to curve round and down on this side, following near that eyebrow, and then going to come back on the right hand side as well. I'm going to bring this all the way down, right straight down as it goes past the eyes, to meet up with this halfway line that we've made on the edge of the circle, just inside the edge around about there. And then this beanie's nice and thick, so I'm going to create a nice thick woolen line that's going to go all the way around, still follow this circle, but it's going to follow all the way up, and it's fairly rough as it's a guideline as it makes its way all the way around and back and down like so. Just followed that original circle curve, but just sticking out an extra lump. And then I've often got my headphones as well, especially when I'm doing the Let's Plays, which I haven't done in a while. So we're going to go ahead and create a headphone shape, which is going to be just a compacted circle around about where the ear should be. and that is going to be a cylinder which just goes out to the left, or the right as we're looking at it, and creates much more of a cylinder shape. You can kind of imagine that here. And as a guideline, we get to imagine another one is just coming off the side of the head, somewhere around here as well. So it's looking a little bit monkeyish for the moment. So what we're going to do is, again, maybe just pop in an eye over here saying hello, and one over here as well. Just get those irises set up to say hi, and then an eyebrow line somewhere up here. It's just bringing up the situation, getting that expression going, like so. And then big old snoz that I've got is going to probably be somewhere around here. So I'm going to use this point, just to let this point out here, and then bring that nose up there like so. And then let's just have a sort of cheeky hello. So I'm going to just have this kind of grin, but starting on that middle line that we've got there, just going to hook up a little bit and be like, hey, how's it going? Yeah, let's learn to draw stuff together. Isn't that fun? And other ting. Just like that. And we'll make that into a winning smile, the win of a grin. And then a little bit of a line goes below that for the mouth. Who on earth is going to follow this tutorial? I have no idea. And then now we're going to just zone out what is sometimes stubble and sometimes a zone of beard. Basically, if you follow this mouth shape around like this, kind of curves out and back in under the chin. And then on this side as well, curve and back in. And pretty much around about here, I often am either unshaved, up around the top, or at least a bit stubbly around here. So you can decide how you want to fill this in, and then that usually meets right back up and around like so. Up on this side, and up on that side. Excellent, almost looking okay, not safe for kids. This time up here we're going to have another band that goes right around the top to be the top part of the headphones as they sit on everything. So that is kind of like, if you imagine a sausage, a thick long sausage sitting on top of my head, that sounds disgusting, don't imagine that. And then there's going to be two bars, one that comes down here and one down here for the nice cheap headphones I like to use when I'm doing them Let's Plays. And then it's got a thickness to it, so it kind of curves back up, maybe something like so. And then there's the soft padded area, so we're going to split this cylinder into one zone here for the soft bit. We'll get an edge of that down on this side, and then it's got another zone here which is like where the soft bit meets the cup of the cylinder, just a different type of metal or plastic. And then really quickly we'll just fit in the rest of the body as well. So let's imagine that we're doing a bit of graphic design work or something like that. So the neck is going to just drop down somewhere around about here, and you're barely going to see it. And the rest of this body is going to, if you imagine, we've got this big circle here. I'm just going to do a kind of eggish shape around about here. Let this kind of drop off the page, and the center line is going to go down here somewhere. If I draw a shoulder line that's across here, I put a shoulder circle here and a shoulder circle here. And then what I'm going to just imagine is maybe I've got my tablet somewhere around here and I'm working on that. So I'm going to start by grabbing out just a cheeky ruler, and I'm just going to create a shape that is a slight rhomboid or a rectangle off at a slight angle, something like this. And then I'm going to give it a tiny bit of thickness this way. This is going to represent the tablet I often use, which is a Wacom Cintiq, although new tablet review coming soon, watch this space. I'm going to let that just come down somewhere off here, very loosely, hopefully following the right angle to make it come down slightly off there, just like so. And then the back of this thing is like a bit of a stand. It just supports it all in place. You can kind of just get the feel for that and make up the designs as it goes on. I'm going to fill in a tiny bit of detail in that there's usually a space around about here which is full of grills as little heat vents. So in that zone, let's just line that line up a little bit better. And you can just loosely get this in. I'm just going to use this to map out loads of little black grills for the here. And then loads of little black grills that are probably going to be around about there. Maybe there's the odd screw on this thing as it goes down. And then this frame has a weird pattern to it. it kind of goes and has these other foldable bits, which are not that important, but I'm quickly going to just put them in whilst I remember them. Just go up like that, and then on the back here, there's another one that goes up like that. Obviously they're following this slight angle as are parallel to these edges, just like that. Basically I just wanted to get a rough idea of a tablet going on, because then it means that I can have maybe just over here if you imagine we're looking, the table's just off the bottom of the screen, we just can't quite see that, but I'm going to create another cylinder which is really bloody big. It's around about here, and it's going to be the mug. So I'm going to rotate the page ever so slightly, like so. I'm just going to create the curve of a cylinder shape just around the top of this mug, like so. I'm just going to have some nice hot tea sitting in that. Probably the most important thing, more important than Mikey, more important than the drawing tools, is definitely the mug. We'll have the handle just somewhere off there to the side, like so. And then this basically just has a big black border, and it says the governor. So I'll just kind of map that in. The vert is going to go there. I'm just going to pen that in a minute. And the governor, it's kind of some text that goes around here. Lovely. Possibly one of the best things I ever got out of a particular relationship was this mug as a present. Don't tell her though. So let's get all of this in. GUV. And then we share stuff now. We're at 100k. And then hyphen N. Yeah, we're probably going to have to. I'm looking at the real mug. We're probably going to have to fit that round, but don't worry, we'll ink that up nice and correct. Just understand that if you're going to have a go at a Mikeymegamega drawing and you don't include a massive mug of tea, you've drawn it wrong. So yeah, get your head around that. Okay, so I often wear a variety of clothes, as people do in real life. For this particular version, we're going to go with the hoodie look that I often wear, which means we've just got a nice V that comes up around about here, and the inside material of the hoodie is this kind of check pattern. So we'll just make this big lump that shows like the folded outside in hoodie element of the hoodie, if that makes sense. Kind of goes up there. There's usually a couple of the toggles that come down, and then I can just have one arm coming off of this shoulder circle, one arm off of this shoulder circle. Let's make it super cringe and just have a nice thumbs up. I never do that. Never. Yeah, let's just have a kind of, yeah guys, isn't everything great? What a prick. So let's get a thumb up here, and then we'll just have 1 knuckle, 2 knuckle, 3 knuckle, 4. I've just made this big rough squarish shape, and then right here we've got just some fingers coming in. So just coming up around about here, and then the joints right down this line here, and that's fingers just coming in like so, right across the kind of center line like that. And then we can just imagine one big circle is the forearm that's going to occupy this space. Another circle around about here is the rest of the arm and the shoulder, and it just means that we're going to have a few curves of material, 1, 2, 3, around about there, and then there's going to be a load of cuff, and that's just going to come off down there. And then on this side here, we'll just imagine that there's a hand using a tablet pen or a stylus pen, just like this, just like so, usually with a rubby out button just on the end. Okay, and so, God almighty. And so what we're going to do is just thicken ever so slightly up around at the top of the eyelashes, over near the top of the eye, back and around like this, down here and across, pupil in here, another circle which is lots of reflecting light, ruddy cheeks, a little bit drunk maybe, having a great day, and that's about it. I don't know why you want this, but you guys have been suggesting a lot of Mikeymegamega theme drawing, so that's what we're going to be up to at the moment. So you're to blame. We're going to drop into time lapse. What I will do is maybe also put a few lines on this bobble cap. It's all in black, so you can't really tell, but it does have like a particular weave to it, like so. And then I'll see you guys right at the end. And there you have it, a nice, quick, simple, easy picture of Mikeymegamega. That's who I am. Thank you so much, everybody, for subscribing. It means the absolutely world to me. It's so cool. I'm not just doing this for the fun of it. Don't forget, you guys asked for this. So if you want to give this video a like or actually a thumbs down today, I wouldn't blame you, to be honest. That's actually okay. But otherwise, come say hi, come get subscribed. This is on the theme of other requests, other Mikey gender bent requests we've got going on towards the end of this week, so stay tuned. I just thought I'd start with a draw simple easy, seeing as that's the Monday vibe. And of course, if you haven't already, check out Patreon if you ever want to support me on there. That's what makes these free YouTube videos possible. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time round. Bye guys!